kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt the Milkman Kendall. Champions Corner is brought to you by the Spanglish World and her networks on Zingo TV channel 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV app on the respective app stores and on iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. This app is completely free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 forward. How's it going tonight, Matt?
Amazing as always. Good to see you again.
Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're in the middle of a move right now.
Yeah, trying to get her sold and staged up for viewing. I think that's got to be the hardest part, you know.
Oh my God, 100%. It's such an undertaking, and with a busy schedule and you're a dad on top of that, I can only imagine trying to juggle everything.
Yeah, it's the kids that are a problem because they want to play and clean up the house. So.
Of course, you know, kids now, they jump out the bucket and then you got to pick it up. Yep. They're enough exercising themselves.
That's right. It is.
Why don't you start off and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, as you are the guest co-host here tonight.
All right. I'm nicknamed Matthew the Milkman Kendall. I've been competing in the sport since 2009. I walked into the gym at 25 years old, and I just was more of a fan of about the time it was probably the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter House was up, and I was like, I could be one of those guys. And I initially went in to do MMA, and I took my first Muay Thai class, and I never looked back. I only wanted to do Muay Thai and kickboxing after that, and since then, I've racked up quite the record of 85 fights, 75 wins, 10 losses. It's something to be proud of. I want to get to 100. But I've also I've had the pleasure of competing on Team Canada since 2012, and I've been a member of Team Canada and competing on Team Canada since then. I've placed third in the world, third in the Pan Ams, and I've also taken the gold and won the title for Pan American champion. I have a record of 6-1 as a pro, and I am right now the New York State ISK kickboxing champion under the Friday Night Fights banner. Due to COVID, I haven't been very active because, as you can see, it's not a fighting world out there right now, other than a couple of nice promotions, right? I'm also a judge, a referee, and Team Canada coach, and fully absorbed into the sport, I'd say. And now having the chance to co-host with you here tonight.
Yeah, Matt, should we let the cat out of the bag and tell all the viewers that I'm going to keep you permanently?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I just did, right?
I think you just did. I'm excited for it. Hey, we have good vibes, and we like talking, punching people in the face, right?
I mean, who doesn't like talking, punching people in the face and listening to people talking, punching in the face? I mean, you said it yourself. You're super immersed in the martial art. You live, eat, breathe the sport. So, I mean, who better to have on? And it's just great that we had the rapport, and we've both traveled with the Canadian national kickboxing team. I got to see you win at Pan Americans, and that was amazing. Super proud moment for all of us, all your teammates for sure. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a great match, me and you.
Yeah, and both newbies.
Even better.
Yes.
Let's get into talking about the Lion fight. So it's not a huge promotion that I'd heard of. Previous to actually like chatting with you a little bit, I've been doing a lot more research into the lion fights, and there's actually a huge amount of talent there. There's so many fighters that have gotten picked from lion fights who have gone on to have huge fights in Glory, Bellator, UFC. Fighters are really being picked out of there quite frequently. And lion fights have actually gone on to be on UFC Fight Pass, making them more well known with fight fans. And recently I've gotten to talk to a couple other fighters through lion fights, and that was Andy Nugent as well as Cody Carrillo. So I think it's a great little promotion, and definitely lots of talent there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as far as North America goes, Friday Night Fights was the #1 Muay Thai promotion, and I'm signed with them right now. And
Don't you hold a title with them?
I do, the ISK. It was a
Yeah.
kickboxing title, but yeah, it's as it goes right now. Lion Fights has really taken they huge strides. Now they've had ups and downs, but they have huge talent. Come on, they've had Yodson, Clyde, Liam Harrison, you know, tons of big name fighters fighting on the card. Now, as it goes for this like last show, oh, and they do the Muay Thai Grand Prix, which is more into I believe the UK. So they're traveling and doing international fighters, which huge, right? So this last card that happened, they due to COVID, and I mean you could kind of see as like it looked like it was on an Indian reserve, and it wasn't like that, you know, Las Vegas feel. But to nod to them, they made a show happen under these tough times,
Definitely.
and they were happened to bring on talent that normally wouldn't get showcased, like people trying to make it on the bigger circuits that are just getting overlooked due to these high level performers and athletes. So, and it was really nice to watch. And I myself, whenever there's a fight, a Glory, a Lion fight, or anything like that, I purchase it. I don't try to stream it. I don't try to find the free link. I don't wait till the next day. If it's been a day or two after, I still buy it and I support the promotion because, hey, I know what it's like being a fighter getting paid diddly squat. And if you buy the pay per view, yo, it eventually trickles down to the fighter, right?
I mean, I think that's a great point that you're making there, Matt, because like you said, like these fighters are relying on you to actually purchase their fights. And more fans, not just that, but when you see like a fighter has t-shirts up for sale or they're promoting a nutritional product, yeah, like your t-shirts, for example, why not purchase them? I mean, you're gonna blow that money in probably coffee or something else anyway. So support people who are putting like their blood, sweat, and tears day in, day out into the sport for sure. I goes a long way. And you're right, Lion Fight is just yet another promotion where you can see talented people who never got their chance to shine, and here they're coming out of nowhere and making a name for themselves. And I think that that's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. And they had a good card. I mean, you could see there's a couple of fights that you know, it was they're getting used to it. And true enough, yo, people are rusty right now, especially in North America. So it was good to see a North American promotion, a Muay Thai fight happen. And we had some local Canadians on there, people that I've had the pleasure of training with both. One more than the other. There was Candice Mitchell fought, I forget the girl's name.
Natalie Morgan and Candice Mitchell, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I was excited. I've trained with Candice at Bazooka Joe's, and she's from TKMT. And we both trained at in Thailand at top team, Phuket top team. Sorry, I keep on every time I think of it as American top team, but it's Phuket top team. She was there before me, and she did a string of fights down there. And she's very tall, lanky.
Yeah, she has arms and legs for days.
Yeah, she looks good. I wish she had a little more power to that pop. I know she worked her clinch a lot for this last fight, from what I've heard. And that being said, she did, because she is so long. She hasn't really needed to clinch that much. And hey, if it's
Hmm.
not broke, you don't fix it, right?
Right.
But it was nice to see her really work her clinch game, and you could tell she was more confident and she was looking good at it. But unfortunately, she wasn't as active as she needed to be to take that win. I saw her three rounds to Morgan, Natalie Morgan, to two to Candice, which is it's upsetting. I love Candice; she's a great fighter, but I know she's only going to come back stronger, and hopefully they give her another shot on Lion Fight, right?
I mean, definitely like you learn a lot from your losses. And like you said, she's gonna take something away from this one. She did win by or Natalie Morgan won by split decision.
But
So obviously it's like any fight, it's like your fight or my fight. Like when it
yeah,
goes to the judges, some judges are gonna see it one way and other judges are gonna see it the other way. But same as when I watched her fight back a couple of times because actually we're gonna have Natalie Morgan on the show next week. So
nice.
I watched this fight 2 or 3 times, and everything that you're saying is basically what I seen. I seen 3 rounds for Natalie as well, and I noticed that Natalie, like, so she's the way shorter fighter, right? So she obviously has less reach, and I think she realized that, and like she was using that like real aggressive style, smothering Kenneth's punches, staying on the inside. So like it was always kind of like to her like her physical advantage, like she used her
Bullied it.
range well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she bullied it, and like it worked for her, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
out of both fighters, I really wished I would have seen maybe the confidence for the elbows weren't there, but I think Natalie, man, if she did like a step in elbow or kind of led with that elbow, I think it could have made the difference, right? Same with Candice, she looked really good with coming into the clinch, which wasn't her strong suit, like I had mentioned before. But man, if she would have popped an elbow or two in there, that could have really changed the pace of the fight. Man, when you get hit with an elbow, that's a different story. It's not it's not a glove, right? Like it's like a bare shin hitting your face. So I mean, I think that could have tipped the scales of it, but both ladies looked amazing. And I love seeing now in this sport that women can have those amazing, amazing fights, and that we're talking about it because they deserve it and they work really hard at this craft. So a nod to both of them. It was close, could have gone either way. I wish I would have seen my countrymen have it, but hey, it is what it is.
Definitely both super talented fighters, and like you said, anything can happen in there, and it's amazing to see two very talented female fighters kind of coming out of the shadow and having their chance in the spotlight as well. So I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your other friend.
Okay, Hassan, H Smash. I mean, this guy, I sparred with him. Like, he's a training partner of mine. I didn't really get to train. I have a broken foot right now throughout all my fights. And my doctor's like, okay, you have some time now. Let's put this cast on a little bit and let's keep you off it. So I wasn't able to train with him and with my house and stuff as much this time. But I know that
Mhm.
he dropped weight really fast for this. I think he lost about 50 pounds. He's about 230, and he tried to make the 190 mark, which was supposed to be for the Lion Fight super cruiserweight title. So it was for a title shot, and he came in on over 2 pounds, which then he wasn't able to fight for the title. They fought for the title, but if he won, he didn't get the title. And if the other guy, what's the guy that just fought? Do you have his name?
I do somewhere here.
Forget it. But if he would have won,
But can I just cut you off really quick and
yeah,
ask you, because Candice also had a big weight cut. She had on her Facebook that she had over 20 pounds. I think she had to cut. So that's both of these fighters like over COVID, sort of having a little bit more
yeah,
weight on than they normally have. Do you think that like that huge weight cut, because I know I've done it before,
yeah.
cut like 15 pounds before a fight, and I really felt it in my fight. Do you think that both of them felt the effects of such a drastic weight cut?
You're very right, and thank you for bringing that up too, because not only that, altitude played a factor because they're in Wyoming, I believe, And altitude is a factor for all the fighters that weren't used to training it. So on top of the weight cut, they were dealing with altitude, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, I do think so. And yeah, I think they did look they both, I know, train really hard. I know all fighters do, but you can see when somebody's being affected one way or another. Sometimes it's ring rust, sometimes it's nerves, but yo, you're right. And Candace is always very lean and in shape. So 20 pounds, I know to some people are like, yeah, 20 pounds, you can do that. For girls, it's a lot different. They have to
Mhm.
deal with things. As a personal trainer, I deal with clients that have been trying to get off 20 pounds for years, right? You have to
Yep.
deal with menstrual cycles, water retention. That is a science in itself. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a great point. I do, yeah, I think she was affected by the weight cut, the travel, and the altitude. Absolutely. And Hassan too, right?
And the guy he fought was Chris Tremel.
Tremel, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
I suck at names and I didn't have my sheet written out here today. But Chris Tremel is he I think his last fight was about a couple of years ago in MMA. So and I could see from him just hitting pads that his technique wasn't going to take Hassan. And not to put him down, he's a good fighter, but Hassan, I've sparred with him, hit pads with him. I've been his pad holder. The man hits like a ton of bricks, straight up.
Mhm.
Sparring him is not fun. It's you're walking away with a headache. He did really good. I knew that if he came out and hit him hard and with hard hands, he was gonna win. The thing that got me, I would have loved to see Hassan utilize some other skill sets that other than his hands, because he has them, but he's not showcasing them as much. I would like to see him punch to kick. I have a saying: when you hurt somebody, play with your food. Okay, you don't have to just finish them, knock them out. That's when you stay calm and build that confidence. Build a highlight reel in a different way. Not saying that he didn't, because he totally did. He knocked the guy out in like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's the same knockout every time. He's knocking people out with his hands. So I would have
Yeah,
just
it's overhand right he got this one with, right?
it's his punch, man. Yeah, he hit him with the he slipped under, went up, boom. But he's got beautiful hands. I would just like to see him finish with some kicks or an elbow,
Mhm.
anything, right? So his last couple of fights have been a lot of punching, but hopefully in the next one. But as you said about weight cut and altitude, maybe it's like, yo, I just want to finish this one quick, right?
Does Hassan also train MMA? Because I know for a lot of MMA fighters, that's a problem. They train like boxing, they train kickboxing, they train wrestling, they train jiu-jitsu, but sometimes stringing things together, like putting your hands and your feet together for a lot of fighters, it's like sometimes it's on and sometimes it's off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, absolutely. But no, not in this case. He's straight up Muay Thai and kickboxing. But because his hands are so powerful, and when it becomes your secret, your
He
weapon,
relies on them.
you kind of
Mhm.
rely on it. And hey, once again, if it's not broken, don't fix it, because we're talking about something. We're critiquing something that this guy finished this guy in 25 seconds. We
Yeah.
should right? I mean, he just knocked out a
Exactly.
guy, and if he made weight, would have won the cruiserweight lion fight title. And what can you say to that? I mean, he's a champ in my eyes. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
saying as a friend, because I've worked with him, and I'd like to see him kick a little bit more, because the man's got some legs too, right? So, but
Yep.
yeah, all in all, it was a great event. There was a couple fights on there that I really liked. There was a kid that came last fight. I think it was in 2015, and he just put on a clinic of clinch and dump. And although it looked like it was on an Indian reserve, I think it was a great event. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a good one for sure. They've been producing some pretty exciting fights to watch, and I think it's great to see like Muay Thai becoming more popular. Anything like kickboxing, Muay Thai. I'm really excited to see those fighters push to the forefront.
Yeah,
It to
absolutely.
become more popularized for sure.
Yeah, let's get
Uh,
some of that MMA money. Yeah,
yeah, bring on that cash. I mean, all of us would love to see a little bit of that. That's for sure.
yeah, for sure.
So you've kind of talked to me a little bit about the difference between Muay Thai in North America and elsewhere in the world. Do you want to chat about that for a little bit?
Yeah, and it's comes to one of my favorite promotions right now is ONE FC. And being in Thailand and training there, before that, before I went, I was very kickboxy, and I had a lot of kickboxing titles. I fought Muay Thai just as much, but I fought Muay Thai in North America. When I went to
Mhm.
Thailand and I absorbed the culture, and I got to see really what it's about, I came back with a different look, and I really started watching ONE FC. Now, watching ONE FC, I've also seen that you have these high level stadium fighters, and in Thailand, when you say stadium fighters, you're talking about the popular stadium, Rajan Stadium and stuff like that, okay, or Lupini Stadium. These are high level fighters, like Rod Tang, the one he was fighting, I think Tiger Kolilov. I think he fought him. These fights happened this morning, and he fought this morning, and he has over 265 fights. And he
Whoa.
has, yeah, and he has and as it goes for a Muay Thai fighter, a good Muay Thai fighter has about 80% win ratio. Rod Tang at 265 fights has an 84% win ratio. That's insane. That's a lot of
That's
fights.
insane.
That's 265 fights. That's
That's
nuts.
insane.
And he's 23.
Wow.
He's been fighting since he's like, 6 or 7. It's nuts, right? So
Hmm.
now Rod Tang has cleaned up the division in Muay Thai. And the thing about ONE FC, they fight Muay Thai with the MMA gloves on. Okay.
Really? But
Only
why use the MMA gloves?
because they want to make it exciting.
Ah, okay, I got you.
Right?
It's kind of like a promo catch.
Yeah, right. Yo, we're in a cage. We're wearing MMA gloves, but traditionally Muay Thai is 5 rounds. They're only doing 3 rounds. Okay.
And how long are the rounds?
It's 3 3-minute rounds.
Three
Okay.
minute
Just like
rounds.
a kickboxing fight.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a title fight, it's 5 3-minute rounds. Okay. But with MMA gloves. Now, Rod Tang cleans up the division in ONE FC wearing MMA gloves. They call it the Super Muay Thai fights. Okay. Now he wants to test himself at MMA or sorry, at kickboxing, which is
Hmm.
no elbows, no clinch. It has a fast pace. The thing with the kickboxing, you wear 10-ounce boxing gloves. So now he started racking up wins in kickboxing, and now is fighting for the division title up against it was Superlak, okay, or no, Illis and Amachi. I'm really bad with the names because
They're a little odd.
they are. They're hard to say. But
Yeah.
there's the fight today. I didn't get to see who won because it was at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I have to work like a regular person. But I'm gonna watch them tonight, and so I believe Rod Tang gets to fight the winner of that for the kickboxing title. So you can be a Muay Thai champion, have a title, switch over, fight in kickboxing, and now he's gonna get his feet wet in MMA. So you can be a division champion, getting 3 different paychecks, fighting like. So, can you imagine how many fights you can have in a year? How active you can stay? Like
That's one championship we're talking about, right?
this is one promotion,
One
right?
promotion. So
Yeah,
it's a
one.
similar concept to one championship
No,
then.
no, sorry. It is. It's one FC, one fighting championship is having all this under one promotion. So
Oh, yes.
this card that happened tonight had Muay Thai with MMA gloves in the cage. Then the next fight was an MMA fight. Then the next fight was a kickboxing fight. Then the next one was a Muay Thai fight, all in one night. You're getting the beauty of all of it. It's taking all of us, right? Like,
I love the idea.
yeah, I mean, you've seen Bellator try to do it with having kickboxing, and then they bring the cage down all in one night. But then they don't kind of play it. Like they don't show you the kickboxing fights. So it's really nice to see. I'm excited for it. I wait, I love it. And it's every Friday and it's free on YouTube. You don't have to buy it. Like it's amazing. I don't understand how they're still going.
Of all the things you can do to waste time during the lockdowns and stuff, I think watching one championship is definitely a great way.
Yeah, and you're stocked full of footage there. Like there's so much stuff you can watch. If you haven't heard of them, if you haven't gone on their page, go tonight. You could literally, I mean, during this lockdown, I finished Netflix, I finished Amazon Prime, I finished UFC Fight Pass, and now I'm pretty much gone through ONE FC. It's insane. I'm a big fan. They've made a fan out of me. I would love to fight on that promotion after getting warmed up and getting into a couple fights. It'd be a dream for me even to have one. But hey, I'll sit here and watch it right now.
Matt, all you need is the right fight.
That's right. Yeah.
Like it's just one open door, and then you're there. That's how it's happening for all those guys. So I
Yeah.
mean, you never know. We might see you on that yet.
Yeah. You never know, right? You never know. I ain't done yet. That's for sure.
You better at least get me some VIP tickets or something if that's the case, though.
You're coming down for sure.
Media coverage on our guy. Yep.
Yeah,
Got that for sure.
Absolutely. And actually on that, today, I believe Giorgio Petrosian was fighting tonight too, which Petrosian won the tournament. And so in the past, kickboxers don't get paid a lot, right? I think the most you get paid for was like the K1 title champion, which is like, a couple 100,000, or on Glory. I think the most they made was about 300,000 to win the tournament. But Giorgio Petrosian had won the title, the tournament, which wasn't in one night. It was a couple of different events, and he won $1 million USD. Could you imagine? I mean, that is the highest paid any kickboxer has ever made in the sport for one fight. $1 million.
Well, I mean, he paved the way now for other fighters to get paid that same amount by he basically is upping everyone's average. People see what is possible, what's attainable now.
Absolutely. And they're doing great things. John Wayne Parr. Now they're getting ready to announce something big here. I think I already have an insight on it. John Wayne Parr is going to be fighting Nicky Holzken. Now, Nicky Holzken, you know who he is. He's the kickboxing. He was the Glory champion. Had beat Joseph Baltellini in the 4-man tournament. Became Glory champion. Held that title. Left the promotion. Came to ONE. Beat Cosmo Alexander. Worked up. Had a loss, I believe. But now he's back in the win column, and he's called out 44-year-old John Wayne Parr, the legend, the gunslinger, and he's called him out. And he said, "I'll fight you with MMA gloves in Muay Thai. Your rules. Let's do it." He's now traditionally Nicky Holzken isn't a Muay Thai fighter, but hey, he's the body snatcher. Amazing hands for kickboxing, and I thought it was a little bit in bad taste calling out John Wayne Parr. One, because he's a legend. Two, he just had hip replacement surgery.
So he's not fighting anytime soon. Like, let's get real.
He's healed up now and has asked the promotion to put him back in. So, and I see that he's training, and they keep on saying, both him and Nicky keep on saying, we have some exciting news here. So, but I've seen the war going back and forth, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see John Wayne Parr versus Nicky Holzken in the cage Muay Thai fight with MMA gloves. So, and
who do you think's going to take that fight? Who do you see winning it?
You know what? I don't even want to answer that one. One, because I respect the old school. John Wayne Parr was somebody I idolized. Now, I don't even want to say who I think would win. Who do I want to win? I want John Wayne Parr to win because, I mean, that would put him at 100 wins in the ring, right?
Wow.
I want to have that 100 win. But to be realistic, like Nicky Holzken is like the man. He's scary. He's got amazing hands. He could be a professional. He is a professional boxer as well. And he could do really well with it, but he just has a slick combinations. But I would love to see John Wayne Parr just sneak in that elbow and call it a night. So I will say who I'd like to win, John Wayne Parr. Who I think is gonna win, I think Nicky might take it if it goes the judges, if he doesn't get cut open from a dirty elbow. you know.
And I've seen some nasty elbows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, there's nothing like being sliced with an elbow.
That's right. It's you know what? I've had fights. I'm winning. I know I'm up 4 rounds. I'm in the last round, and I just get cut by an elbow, and you can feel it. Your face feels hot, and you're like, "Oh no, I hope it's not bleeding a lot." And the worst thing you can do when you get cut from an elbow is go and check, because then the judges know you're aware. I pretend like I don't even know that's there. I don't even know it's there. What are you talking about?
That's smart. See,
Yeah.
you got the referees in now. You know how to act around the refs and around
Yeah.
the judges.
It's like cool. It's like when someone has food in their teeth, right? I know it's there. I'm just gonna keep on talking.
Definitely, 100%. Um, let's talk about you again. Let's talk a little bit about like your gym and
Yeah, for sure.
how you enjoy coaching and reffing and what you have coming up in your career.
Okay, well, I had during COVID, I built this amazing gym out in my house, and it's been a blessing. I mean, I'm so busy. I've been putting in about 35 to 40 hours of training clients, and I have a contract with the something I'm so passionate about is with group home. I work with at-risk youth, and I'm teaching them martial arts and how to change their life and become good. But during that, the staff was like, "Yo, we need some training too, because these kids are becoming really good, and we're dealing with them when they're not so nice." So it actually turned out that now during COVID, I'm training the staff like 15 to 20 times a week alone, just with the group home. And then on top of it, I do about 10 personals, and I teach at the gym for 10 hours a week. So I'm packed, and that's at pound for pound here at my house, which I call the Milky Way. And then yeah, so the group home the group home and my clients come here, and I'll never be away from Pound. It's my always been my home. Even if when I move and I have my gym at home, I'll still come down to Pound and do personals and teach. And then I also have a gym up in Markham, and I go up and I teach there. But as of right now, I can't have my hands in too many pots, so I had to kind of tell my other coach that I need some time till I move to go back there. But my I have had my foot in a walking cast right now, so I've been doing a lot of strength and conditioning. I've been trying not to kick with it. Been doing some boxing, but I'm hoping that the rankings for the Muay Thai World Cup, which is a Canadian promotion here, and I'll be fighting for the WBC title soon in the green belt. Yeah, that should be happening sometime hopefully in the summer, I would say, because they're going to do the event outside.
Any idea who you're set to fight yet?
Well, it would be Scott McKenzie, the guy that I was supposed to fight before COVID happened. And so I came.
Scott that went to Team
No,
Canada with us? Oh,
no,
okay.
when we were doing Team Canada in Mexico, he was on Team Canada for Muay Thai. So it's kind of, yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of East versus West here, because I've been
yeah.
racking it up over here, killing it, and he was racking it over in Alberta, killing it. So people were saying like, "Who's the best in Canada? Who's the one?" So I mean, I know who it is, but I just got to go and pick up my belt.
Yep. I'll add that to the collection. Thank you.
So I mean, that should happen. So they're gonna do a ranking. I don't know if I'm gonna be fighting him right away. I don't really know what's happening, but I really do just need to get back to punching people in the face. Definitely, I'm missing it.
So you haven't fought since all this coronavirus stuff began, right?
No, not since 2019 when I won the ISK title for Friday Night Fights.
So I'm wondering now, like, how all this is going to work, especially for a bout coming up in Canada. I'd assume probably they'll have you do a COVID test probably 2 weeks prior to your bout, and they'll probably have to test your corner. And then I would say 24 to 48 hours before your bout, same thing as weigh-ins. You're probably going to do another test, most
Yeah,
likely.
yeah, you nailed it. That's probably exactly how it's gonna go. I
It
mean, and
seems
then
to be the
two,
way they're doing it in other promotions, like one before both corner and the athlete, and then one 24 to 48 hours before as well.
and you got to think though, how much money is that costing, right? And why would you think an amateur small promotion, why would they want
Exactly.
to do that? I mean, there's going to be no money left. I mean, I love doing this. I love fighting. I love that people are passionate about it. But promoters as it is, they're not making lots of money off fights. I mean, they're paying the fighter. If they're making anything when they come out of it, they're a little bit happy. A lot of them are just coming out Dutch, and they're just bringing a platform for their fighters to fight. So I can't see them having events really if they're gonna have to jump through all those hoops because those tests cost a lot. And now you're talking
Hmm.
about like what? We're talking about 15. That's probably like 100 tests for one card, right? That's a lot of money. I don't know.
And sadly, right now, it's not like the government is going to, or maybe aren't even in a position to give those tests out for free in order to help continue the sport,
Yeah.
maybe in places where kickboxing and Muay Thai are a lot bigger.
Yeah.
I can definitely see those countries like paying for those. I mean, look at when we went to Wacko Worlds
Yeah.
and people from Russia were getting like cars if they
Yeah.
won.
For
It's
sure.
like we're standing over here like we got the medal.
Yeah, we're paying. When I remember when we were sitting there, we were talking. I think it was Russia, and we told them that we paid to come there, and they're like, "You guys," and we thought they were crazy, like as fighters. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"You guys are crazy. You're crazy. You paid to come here. They pay us. They give us cars, apartments, training." It's
Mm-hmm.
upsetting, we don't have the funding, and
It is.
yeah, it is, right? But in that, hey. That's why I'm so fully absorbed in the sport because one day I want to change. I want the kids that I train and the people under me and I hope that they have better advantage, even just a little bit more than us. Then I'm happy,
Oh,
you know.
100%. With growth comes more money. And the thing is, the more people that bring awareness to the fact that fighters are underpaid, promoters have limited resources. I mean, it's only going to improve.
Yeah.
But it's just sad it can't be like that.
I wish I could at least get one good payday, just one.
Right?
Right? I mean, if you want to talk about the money that I've spent in over my career, I've had so many amateur fights. Do you know how much money I've poured
Mm-hmm.
into it? If I could have that money back, would I change and then hold on to that money? No, I would still do every single step I would because I've created something that my kids can see. My kids come in, I got 15 belts when you walk into my house, and they're like, my dad's a champ, and there's things that money can't buy, and I'll spend that money over and over again. I just wish I had more like sponsors, more funding. I wish the
Mm-hmm.
government would have paid. I mean, I poured my heart and soul into it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm here right at the end, and it's like a nice big paycheck for a big fight would be nice, just to be Dutch.
Oh, I definitely 100% agree with you. And I've had this same conversation with other fighters. Just last week, I had the same conversation with Cody Carrillo, and he also has two kids. And I was sort of joking with him, and I'm like, when your 2-year-old is like ready to start his fighting career, like you're going to be going around, and all the old guys, all the old fighters are going to be going around saying like, in my day, we fought for the win, we fought for the love of it, and like they'll be rolling bank, you
Yeah,
know?
banking. Yeah, my kids will be boom fighting for cars. I don't know, whatever it is, and I'll be like,
And we'll be like looking down our nose, like when I did it, we did
yeah,
it for the love of the
well,
sport.
yeah, you're probably right. I walked up 10 miles uphill in a snowstorm, kind of deal.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, and you know what? I hope so. But you know what? My kids, I'll tell you a quick little funny story. My oldest. So once I built the gym in the basement, he's like, I need a job. He's 9 years old. He goes, I need a job. And I'm like, why? You need a job? What are you talking about? He goes, I need a job to buy Roblox. And I hate video games. I go, what do you mean you need a job for Roblox? And he goes, yeah, I want to buy Roblox. I'm like, okay, you want a job? I'm like, after I have every a client, you can come down, you clean the mats, and I'll give you $2 every time you clean. All right. Or if you do multiple times, they'll give you $2 a clean. And if it's only one clean a day, I'll give you $3. And he goes, okay, cool. I'm like, but you got a job interview for me. And he goes, okay, yeah, I'll job interview. And he sits down, we start talking. I go, so what experience do you have? he goes, he goes, mopping up the floor with my victims in what is it? It's the shooting game, Fortnite.
Oh, Fortnite.
I lost my mind. I go, okay, kid, you got the job. And then, you know what? The kid comes down, he cleans the mats, and I make him invoice me every month. And he's 9. It's really great. And my kids see what martial arts, how I can make money through martial arts and make people feel good. And my hope is that when they go off to college, that maybe they can start a little class when they're off on a university campus or something and be like, yo, I know how to make a quick little buck because I watched my dad hustle and be in a small little room and do pad work and get people in shape, and it's good money. So, hopefully that rubs off, right?
Definitely. I mean, your boys already have something to be proud of for sure.
Yeah.
And it's great that like you're instilling like respect and discipline and stuff with them, because like that's a huge part of martial arts as well. I mean, I think it's a huge reason why I'm an advocate of putting little kids in the sport is because it does teach discipline, respect. It's a beautiful sport. A lot of people think it's savage and barbaric, but it takes a lot of skill, and it's beautiful savagery.
I like that. You know what I call it? Beautiful violence.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it's great what you're doing with the group home too. I think that's amazing. Mental health is something that's really been put to the back burner, especially since everything with coronavirus is going on. And more people are looking for ways to cope. And I think get out there, try virtual class if your area is currently in lockdown, or if you're not in lockdown, get out, support your local gym and try kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever it is, some kind of competitive sport, because we can both attest to the fact that punching people in the face makes you feel a whole lot better.
That's it. A whole lot better. If I'm my wife, she knows when I'm grumpy, right? I'm grumpy and I'm short. She's like, you know what? Call the boys over and just punch somebody, please.
You need to get your fix in, babe. You need to get your fix in.
Yeah.
So like speaking of club and the club atmosphere, what do you think are some key things that make up a really good dojo or a really good boxing or kickboxing club? What do you think are some key?
Yeah, so key is the instructors, number one, having experience. If your instructor doesn't have accolades, doesn't have that experience, not saying that all coaches that have to be world champions and stuff, because some coaches have never ever fought and they're great coaches, but they need to have some kind of experience in accolades in one way or another, for sure. And the second thing is that there is a stable of fighters. If there's no fighters, then I would walk back out the door, definitely. And what times are the training? Is it open every day? Is it open all day? There's a couple of things that I know. I can walk into a gym, I can smell it and be like, yep, that's a gym. Smells like hard work, then I'm staying. So yeah,
Definitely.
But definitely a stable of fighters is an important thing to know.
100%. Like, so as you know, I live in Newfoundland, so we're sort of limited in the amount of competition that we have because we're just pulling from the province unless we take a flight to go elsewhere to get fights. So, it's been good and bad. So I've been the only girl at the gym a lot of the times, which actually always worked to my advantage because I'm training with some amazing, talented guys. But yeah, you do have to have a roster of fighters at the place that you want to go train, unless you have no intention of doing it for competitive purposes. Another thing I'd say is super, super important, and something that stands out to me about Rock Athletics, which is the club that I train out of in Newfoundland, is having an instructor that trains actively. Yeah. So It means that they're in on like the latest, and greatest in fighting. They have connections. They can get you fights themselves more than likely because they're actively training and actively fighting themselves. And another thing is a place that teaches respect. So when your coach talks, everyone in the class knows that that's not the time for you to be talking. I'm sure you also have this pet peeve of when you're training for a fight and you go in and there's a couple of people over in the corner not taking class seriously and they're talking and you're just there to work and concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when a class of people have respect for the instructor and know that when the instructor is speaking, you stop speaking, it's another sign of a good club as well. Also, any club that has strength, conditioning, mobility available, like those kind of practices, or even that implemented into their training, if that's a part of the class, I
Yeah.
think it's really important for fighters, kickboxers, boxers, like things like stretching and strengthening are sports specific and necessary, but they're often overlooked. So I would say if you are in a place that also has that incorporated, you're in a pretty good place.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you hit all the right points, and I think it is important. And also too, a coach that is okay with you traveling to other spots, other gyms. One thing is I don't need a jealous girlfriend as a coach. I don't need them to be like, hey, why are you going over there and doing that? I think it's really important to have professional development, and you learn stuff from people everywhere. I would tell people, hey, be loyal, go to your spot, have it. But man, make friends, travel, go places, spar different people. But remember where home is. Where do you eat?
Yes.
You know? And
Mhm.
I think it's huge. I've learned lots from tons of people, man. I travel everywhere. I go all the time. And I'll tell you something, Steph. If you ask anyone in the sport in my area, I'm allowed to go to any gym. I'm respectful. I would never put down somebody's gym or anything. I go in and I respect, and I think it's really important to keep that. I pride myself on being able to go to any kind of gym and go in there. I'm respectful when I spar people. I don't try to bang too hard anymore, because there was my younger years. I was more of a
We
uh,
all go through those
yeah,
growing
yeah,
pains.
for
Me as
sure.
well. I once sparred somebody into the bathroom over a sink.
Yeah,
The guys at the club love to tell that story.
yeah,
I think we've all had those like, banger kind of days, but
for sure.
I mean, you nailed it. And you are that kind of respectful guy too. Like you understand gym etiquette, you understand like what being respectful in a gym means,
Yeah,
which is maybe something we should talk about in another show because there's
maybe
a whole slew of fighters out of there that need to be educated on gym etiquette.
you nailed it. I would love to talk about gym etiquette one time, right? So maybe when there's a bunch of fights that aren't up, we can
Yeah.
talk gym etiquette because I have a lot of pet peeves for sure. One thing we didn't mention was the Glory heavyweight tournament. And you know what? Glory was on the back burner for a bit. And the last two events that they had, I thought was amazing. And this last one that they had, there was a 4-man heavyweight tournament. And Rico Van Husen, he is the champ right now. But he was fighting, the person he was fighting ended up getting a back injury and he couldn't fight for the title anymore. So then Rico goes, I'll do a 4-man tournament and throw me in the tournament. His title wasn't up for grabs, but he didn't need to go in and fight 2 times in one night. That is some balls, man, for him to be like, yo, I want to give the fans what they want to see. I want to give them some excitement and I want to fight. I really respect that. And he's now been dubbed I mean, he already was the king of kickboxing, but on Infusion, they called him the prince of kickboxing. He is definitely, in my eyes, the king of kickboxing. He dismantled both of his opponents. Now giving his second opponent was a little bit beaten up going into the second fight, but Rico was not even touched. So that being said, I was a big fan of that. That card was a stacked card from start to finish, right? And start to finish. and every single fight could have been a main event.
So the overall winner is Rico.
Rico won the 4-man heavyweight tournament. Yeah.
He have like a lot of back and forth with H.E.R. Gurges. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Like they had fought a few times and Rico had won a few times, right? And there was a little bit of smack talking or something going on there.
I know what you mean about the name. Yeah, that was a lot of fight going back and forth. If you saw the press conference a couple of times, yeah, it was a lot of back and forth. People would hate on Rico. They would think that, oh, he's a pretty boy and he's getting all this shine and all this love. But to tell you the truth, I think that, it's a little bit of heat calls for a good fight, right? Definitely. So, but it was a good promotion. Tiffany Van Soot fought. Yeah, I was really impressed with the card. I bought the pay-per-view. And the beautiful thing is when you buy it, it goes, you get it for a couple of days. So yeah, I just definitely wanted to touch on that Glory, man. That was pretty good too.
That's such a good like feature that they have, because I love going back and rewatching the same fight. It's like you're watching another fight all over again, because you're not just looking for the excitement of it. You're looking at like more of the details and stuff in the fight. And the guy you were talking about, Jamal Seddick, who had the back injury.
Yeah.
Do we know what happened to him? Like what type of back injury he had?
It was a strength and conditioning. From what I've heard. Now, I don't know from the reporters and stuff, but I believe it was strength and conditioning, deadlifts or something, and he had a back injury, and I think he might even need surgery, so he might be out.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why you got to be careful with our sport, man. It's our sport. You do all sports to do our sport, and that's what I tell people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to like strength and conditioning, that's why it's really important to have people who know what they're doing when they're coaching and teaching and critiquing your, not to say his camp never, but it is super important, because your body is your livelihood when you're a professional fighter.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know how, but an entire hour has seemed to have flown by. So our guest co-host tonight, Matthew Kendall, who is now our permanent co-host of Champions Corner. Matt, how can everybody get in touch with you if we have any sponsors out there who are looking to send some money your way, or any fans who might like to follow you so they can see Champions Corner every Friday and Saturday? How do they do that?
Yeah, awesome. So I have a fan page on Facebook, Matthew the Milkman Kendall. And then I also have an Instagram account, Milkman F&F, because Milkman Friday Night Fights. So yeah, Milkman F&F on Instagram, and Matthew the Milkman Kendall on Facebook.
Awesome. And you guys can tune in here every Friday and Saturday for Champions Corner. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. The H.E.R Network is part of the Spanglish World Media Network. Please check us out at spanglishworld.ca for all your news and programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks again, Matt.